My sisters and brothers, I greet you all with the love and peace of the Lord. I invite you to meditate together with me on the Holy Word of God of 14th September 2021 as we celebrate the festivity of the exaltation of the Holy Cross. The focus of our reflection, cross, which is a symbol of crime, punishment, shame, and suffering, is dignified, sanctified, and glorified as a symbol and a channel of fidelity, sanctity, and salvation because of the Lord who is crucified. The ways of God are often in contrast to the ways of the world. Cross is a powerful proof of this. Cross in the sight of the world is a burden that a criminal carries and that carries him to his eventual death on it. And crucifixion is an ignominious penalty. But God transforms the same cross into an instrument of grace that carries the burdens of sinners and puts to death the sin of humanity. It becomes a carrier and assurer of salvation. In the cross, we see the dialectic and the salvific tension between God and man, between this world and heaven. In hate and evil, men have lifted up Jesus on the cross, while in love and goodness, God allowed himself to be lifted up. We see in the first reading from Numbers 21, 4 to 9, an image of a bronze serpent would become the source of revival from death for all those bitten by a serpent. Similarly, Jesus raised high on the cross becomes the source of new life for all those bitten by the serpent of sin. In the cross, we see the divine powerlessness that becomes the source of empowerment for all those weakened by the power of sin. The God, full of power, empties himself so as to fill us with the heavenly riches and strength. The crucified, hanging on the cross, is not a failed criminal languishing in misery. Rather, he is a nailed victor, furnishing us with glory. On the cross, we see the perseverance and fidelity of God to humanity and to his redemptive mission to the end. He preferred to climb the cross as a criminal and not to climb a horse as a king. He declared, "Those who wish to be my disciples, deny yourself, take up your cross and follow me." True to his own words, he totally denied himself, took up our crosses of sin, and followed the way and the will of God. On the cross, we see the sanctity and dignity of suffering. Suffering is not automatically something despicable and detestable. Suffering, which is due to depraved human situations, suffering that is no one's fault, and especially suffering for God and for good, is meritorious. It is in fact a sharing in the very suffering and death of Christ. It is a continuation of his own mission of salvation. And now the direction and the directive for our life, exaltation of the cross, is in fact the exaltation of God's will and plan of salvation that is being accomplished then and even now through numerous cross bearers in passion and loyalty.